last word.
All right, good evening everyone and welcome to The Last Word, our very first show this January 2026. And what a topic and what a show. Good to see you, to see everyone. We are here as always, the show format where it is me and my colleagues, Zaha Ndimoli, Eric Latif, and a very, very live audience that is very to dig into the topic of the day. So, this evening, the most important topic to discuss is nothing else other than Kenya's preparedness of grade 10 entry. So this is a fantastic new thing, a new system of education, and yes, we need to learn how did we get here. So tonight we're asking that question. If you're at home, online, wherever you're watching us from, do you think Kenya was prepared for the grade 10 entry exam? But before that, as we always do, it's time to understand how the year has been. Zaha, Latif, good to see you. Have we started well?
Happy New Year. Have we?
I don't know.
Have we? I think apart from Kenya, the entire world is in a crisis, from ICE to Venezuela to Kenya, and now 1.13 million learners are heading to grade 10, and we have almost no idea what is happening in our country. So I think it's good we are alive. The rest, we're going to find out in the show.
That's what makes life. Okay,
oh man.
I'm not sure that we'd have expected anything different.
That's true.
From some drama somewhere. I mean,
absolutely. Some
things are working, some things will not be working. Some things will be dramatic, some things will appear to be dramatic, but maybe they're not.
Yeah.
But this grade 10 transition is something we're going to find out.
Yeah.
Because yes, from yesterday, Monday, going all the way into Friday, learners will be reporting to their new schools.
Yeah.
Now, many of them will be saying that they are happy with the schools they're reporting to. Some will not be happy with the schools they're reporting to, and some will not be able to report by the end of this week.
Yep.
Reasons that have been there before: school fees, distances, affordability,
right? Quality of the schools,
quality of the schools,
because that is front and center,
and that's a big thing.
Yeah.
What is this thing about the quality of the schools? Why is it that 60 years plus after independence, we still talk about this school is better than the other? That you still want to take our children to a certain school because we feel that that one will give them a better chance at getting quality education than another. And yet all of them are managed by the Ministry of Education. All of them have TSC teachers, or should have TSC teachers. All of them will actually be administering an exam at the end of this session.
Yeah.
So why do we have an issue with the quality of schools? Those are questions that we need to ask ourselves tonight.
Absolutely. So many questions to ask, and as usual, we start with a hot button, and it is the typical thing that is disturbing you other than the topic of the day. And so I'll give you an example. How many in the room know I show speed? How many in the room? Just raise your hands. Okay.
That by now,
By now, surely
now
you should have known. It's the only thing that has happened in this country, all right? And yes, so it's a phenomenon. 19, 20-year-old young streamer who visits on an African visit, showing sort of the continent in a way that was never showed before, perhaps even by the mainstream media or even the tourism boards of different countries. Fascinating, way on how to present themselves. My take on it is this thing two things, that young people don't have enough attention span of more than 3 seconds. It is a lie. They spent 8 hours
watching
online
streams,
and watching the same stream. So there's something wrong that we're doing with any other content. Two, that young people can't show up. There were thousands who show up in the streets to participate, to show they're doing their own streaming and whatever it is. My lesson of I Show Speed is shatters every misconception we've had about us, about young people, but maybe it's a lesson to learn. That's just me, a semi-hot button. But let me start with you. Please introduce yourself. What is your hot button? What is the thing that has been disturbing you or, thinking about the whole week?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Edgar Were. I'm a teacher at Wangu Comprehensive School. And Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year.
So the CBE, competency-based education, according to me, is a good thing that the government...
Hot button, sorry, before we go to the topic. Do you have a thing that is disturbing you
Other than the
topic of the day?
No.
You're fine.
I'm fine.
Let me go to the gentleman on this side. Then we'll come back to the real topic of the day. Please introduce yourself. What is the thing that is disturbing you? What is your hot button?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Michael Kamunguna. I'm an alumni leader at Mangu High School and a board of management member at Lavington Primary School. The thing that has disturbed me throughout the week is that 60 years after independence, the nation is still talking about national schools, a myth that does not exist, an idea that violates the national values. We're supposed to be talking about equality of all children, the quality of the education services. Instead, we are talking about which school is better than the other school. That is what is disturbing my heart.
Okay, so let's get into it. It appears that
This is the hot button.
This is the hot button, right?
Yes.
And Latif made, alluded to it. Several problems with our education system, and we have to almost start from the time we transitioned into this new fantastic system. I call it fantastic because it was sold as the education that will solve all our problems. We will no longer be grading our children. They will have pathways, and all of them will be clever from day one. All right, so that's a fantastic thing that was sold to us. But so we have several problems with our education system as it is sold, as it was sold. Number one, it is solving a problem that we had, which was a problem of economics, that we were not funding our education system properly with the 844 system. But instead of funding the education system properly, we actually defunded it. We removed money from the system, and we told ourselves, we're looking for a new pathway. We need to teach our children ways on how to make a decision when they are 14 or 13 to decide their life's course. I don't know anyone in this room who, when they were 13, they were clear on what they wanted to do with their entire lives. But as a country, as a nation, decided 13, 12-year-olds are fully settled and they should decide their pathway in life. And they cannot change in anything. That's something very curious and interesting. But we are a nation of interesting people and clever people, and so we went with it. Problem number two is the question of defunding of our education institutions.
Yeah.
The question that Latif asked, the myth that he's talking about of national schools. There's a reason why those schools, everyone wants to go there. And we need to be honest ourselves tonight, is they have facility, they are properly facilitated than the next school that is 3 kilometers away. All right? And that's a problem that we have to discuss. So ladies and gentlemen, let's sink our teeth into it. Zaha.
Oh, man, me, I'm a product of 844, so I have so many complaints prior and present. But I feel like, again, it's very ambiguous for us to speak of CBE and transition children to process in this system when we have no infrastructure that supports it. I feel like it's a good idea to have competency, value-based education, which decentralizes the need to master a curriculum other than actually apply it. And I think it's a very good idea to substantially a system that is developed. And I think for me, the things that came into mind, the pathways that are being chosen are STEM, social sciences, and arts and sports, right? And in my mental capacity as an 844X.
Your 844 mind that is not competent.
I'm thinking that I'm not yet, right? As not yet a competency-based educational product. I'm thinking the difficulties of our science labs since back then. I'm thinking...
We haven't solved that yet.
I know. That's why I'm like, what was the rush? What was the rush to put young kids as guinea pigs for this transition? Because where have we seen proven proof of this transition actually working? I think the reverse would have been better, where the systems should have been allocated, funding would have been allocated, infrastructure. And I think, let me get into detail of what actually messed with my mind. It's that we have a shortfall of more than 1,223 classrooms, 2,804 labs, 7,801 ICT labs, 1,750 workshops, but importantly, more than 27,000 sanitation facilities have not been made in our schools. And we have also reduced the capitation to students in free secondary education, meaning accessibility that Kibaki had actually presided over is nowhere to be found. So I feel like CBE is a very good motive. It's a very good industrialization to the education spectrum, but it's not viable with the infrastructure we have. I also don't think it's very correct to have a permanent, irreversible choice on your education system, either through STEM and social science, and not have a plan back in case you change your mind later.
Yeah, you know, it's been about 7 years of implementing this curriculum, right?
Imagine.
So it's 7 years of knowing that at some point, learners will be at some stage where they're in grade 10.
Yeah.
And they will need to meet teachers who are able to take them through learning in this format. It was 3 years of knowing that learners will be going to grade 7. We got to 7 and this country was completely unprepared. We were still debating whether they should stay in primary or go to secondary. Then we agreed, let's say, all of us agreed. Some disagreed, but the majority or whatever, the decision makers agreed they will stay in their primary schools and we will rename them into comprehensive schools. But we knew that they are there for 3 years, after which they will go to grade 10. We are seeing all this chaos as if this thing just happened last year.
Exactly.
Like, we are testing a new electronic information management system. We are just until second term last year, we did not have a proper conversation around the categorization of schools. We started categorizing them, and we have teachers here and parents, they'll be telling us. Last year, the conversation around how you select your schools and so on was happening into the third term of last year with these learners who are learning this thing for the first time, and some teachers who are also dealing with this for the first time. Some have just been posted to schools as interns and they're handling these learners and they've got to take them through this. So I look at this and I see it exposes our incompetence as we are struggling to get into competence-based education, but we have an incompetence-based government. That's what we have. It's a government that it knew what it was dealing with, but it just did not prepare itself adequately for it. And there can be very many excuses for it, but I just think all of it is, as a society, we've accepted mediocrity, and it's time we said not mediocrity.
100%.
Right? Yeah.
Let's get into the thick of things. You have the microphone. Do you believe the problem is finances set by the government? Or you could actually say that the system is fantastic. By the way, you don't have to say that, the system is probably, you can say it is fantastic and it's working very well, and Latif is a bit high. Please, go ahead.
I'll quote the late Honorable Raila Odinga. We were not consulted. If the government had consulted the stakeholders, we would have seen the problems before they came. We would have prepared ourselves for it, the problems. We would have funded the solutions. We would have anticipated. Instead, the process that was conducted violates Article 46 of the Constitution, not only in the quality of the services, but the information necessary to enjoy the services fully. It's a civic education issue. Funny enough, you're talking about the Ministry of Education, and Kenya has not engaged in civic education. So if the civic entities, the citizens, the people, the students, the parents, the teachers had been consulted, we wouldn't be having this problem.
I want to ask the parents in the room, just pass the microphone, Chair of, Parents Association. What do we think we are teaching our children with this CBE? But when you speak to parents, as a parent, what do you think CBE is actually providing? Away from the talking points, competency-based education system curriculum, it doesn't make sense. But what do we think we are teaching our children?
Thank you very much. My name is Silas David Buhatsa. I chair the Parents Association in this country. First, I want to thank you for inviting me here. And I want to say, Mr. Latif, myself, and this gentleman here, we are all from Mangu High School. So when we speak, we shall do reference to what we saw in Mangu and the present. So,
through different generations.
Yes, and ages.
Yes.
Okay, I'll say this one thing is that when it comes to the education sector, education is holistic. It's not the government, it's not the parents, it's not the learners. is for all the stakeholders. First of all, 844 system didn't have any problem. To begin from there.
It didn't have any problem.
It only had a few issues, we call them teething issues. If the former government or Kibaki's government had stuck to the 844 system and said, let us correct the mistakes that are here and we build on this journey, right now we will not be blaming the Kenya Kwanza government that is not performing as far as education is concerned. So the rain began beating us all the way from Kibaki's government because they began supporting CBE when actually they were not prepared. We came to Uhuru's government fully supporting the CBE. Even after Honorable Amina said that CBE will not work in Kenya. You know that very well.
It is Uhuru's government that started this curriculum change.
Towards the end of Kibaki's era.
No.
Yes.
It was Uhuru's government that started the change of the curriculum. Kibaki finished and left 844 by 2013.
But it's normal that the curriculum has to change. In all countries, after some time, a period, curriculum changes. So I was saying, if we had built on 844 system to rectify the few mistakes we had, because remember in the 844 system, they removed arts and music, they removed home science. Then again in CBE, home science is there, art and craft is there, music is there again. So what was wrong with the 844 system? Now that's gone. We are back on the CBE system. And right now, everybody is saying that the blame is to the government. And I say that education is holistic. The stakeholders in this, main stakeholders are the government, the parents, and the teachers. I would say, like what my brother said here, that if actually full knowledge or education was given to the public, and especially parents, I'm very sure right now we wouldn't be having this kind of doubts that are there. However, the government did what we call education dialogues. I chair the parents' association in the Ministry of Education. Through KCD, we did dialogues with the parents in 24 counties out of 47. So parents in 24 counties understand what is CBE, what is transition, what is this grading system, and what is grade 10 system. They know that. However, 23 counties are still behind. So in these 23 counties is where we are still having doubts that what is this animal called what? CBE. We are taking on this with the government from this January. Those 23 counties, we are going back to enlighten parents now. As much as it's late, we shall be doing that. The other thing is this. To me, like what he said, I have no blame for the government. What's the reason? The government has trained 76,000 teachers to see this system go through. And the same 76,000 teachers have been employed by the government. They are there. Infrastructure, the government has built 26,000 classrooms towards what? The transition of grade 10. Same time, the government has given capitation funds, 44 billion, towards this system all the way, including the 844 system. Finally, the government still says it's going to do more of the infrastructure. Now, if I come to Latif and my friend here, when we were in Mangu, but we did not get everything from A to Z. There are students who came from areas like the school I was in. The school I was in didn't have all the desks, but I performed and came to Mangu. When we are saying that all schools must be equal, when you're saying that Alliance has labs, but a school in Kilifi does not have labs, the president said clearly that the schools can share. Her school has labs. My school does not have. And they are close. They can share. Public and private schools can share what? Facilities. It was allowed. Secondly, all schools are equal. Teachers are equal. Their professionals are trained. Therefore, these are the things you're talking about. These are teething problems. Kenya Kwanza government should not be blamed because,
okay.
Just let me finish. You remember before Dr. Ruto took over as the president, He said clearly that 844 system, the CBE system, if he became the president, he'll do what? He'll do what? He'll scrap it off. He said that clearly. He said that he will not entertain CBE because it was not prepared. But he came back and realized that this is what this government has been missing. And he took on. And actually he has improved it from where it was to what it is. He deserves a mark.
So what was the improvement?
What was that?
What was the improvement you're mentioning from when Dr. Ruto came in to now?
Since Dr. Ruto came in, the government has employed 76,000 teachers.
Okay.
And the 76,000 teachers have been retooled, prepared to take over the CBE classes all the way from ECD to...
Are those the 54,000 teachers who have been retooled for CBC senior schools? Is that the number you're talking about?
Right now, the secondary school teachers under 844 system are all being retooled to go through the CBE system. All the primary school teachers have been retooled. So we have enough teachers that have been retooled that can run from ECD to grade 10.
In the entire country? In
the entire country.
Okay, let's give to the teachers. We give to the teachers. Please, you've been retooled. So
yes.
You have no issues. You know, right now you're the problem. All right?
Yes.
Please go ahead, introduce yourself. And explain to us where the problem with the education system is.
Good evening. My name is Madam Caro from Ongata Academy, and I'm the head of school in Ongata Academy. And I would say that we have gone through the whole process of being trained as teachers, and I'll be of a different opinion. I'll not say because we come from the private schools that's why we have more advantages than the public schools. But our school management has taken time to ensure that our teachers are trained. And also as we introduce grade 10 right now, we have ensured that we have equipped our facilities and we are ready for the CBE. So you find that for us, we have an added advantage because our management have taken time to ensure that we have the right infrastructure to ensure that we are ready for the system. So I can confidently look at you and tell you, as a teacher, we are ready for CBE. As a teacher, we are ready for our grade 10s, and we're excited about CBE. Do we have teething problems? Yes. We acknowledge that we have that. But every day we are planning and we are looking into it to iron out. We are working with the Ministry of Education. NEC is on board. The ministry is working with us to ensure that they are able to identify where do we have challenges, where can we come on board and help us out. So the only thing that we need to do, and we still are doing right now, is to empower our parents, to empower them with information about CBE. We want a scenario where if I give homework, my parent understands why they have to build a TV using cartons. So that is what we're trying to work it out. CBE is a good system. Yes, there are teething problems, but you're going to work it out as a country.
Well, let me ask you a couple of questions. Number one,
yes.
Your school is it a comprehensive school or a senior school?
For our school, we are right from preschool to senior school.
All the way to senior?
Yes.
So when it comes to senior, what category is your school?
So for us, we are just a normal school where we have the 844 system. We have the cohorts, that's the Form 3 and Form 4.
Yeah.
And right now we have ushered in the grade 10.
But how are you categorized now? Is there categorization in private schools?
No.
Because we know it's C1, C2, C3, C4.
No.
So how are you admitting? Are you only admitting the people who apply to join your school?
Yes. So actually what is happening, the Ministry of Education has onboarded us on the grade 10 placement. So once you go to the system, you have an option as a parent to either go the public way or go the private way. Yes. So it's the decision of the parents and also us to market ourselves to our parents to ensure they're on board on the private schools.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's within your school boards.
Yes.
100% decision on the number of learners to admit for senior school?
Not only on the board, the facilities that are available to accommodate the number of learners.
So you have a say?
Yes, we have a say.
And like a board member here from Mangu,
yes.
Do you have a say on the number of learners that you'll admit to grade 10?
Thank you for asking that question. I'll go back to 2019. We went to the school. It had space for 300 students. But the report was that the Ministry of Education was saying we should admit 500 students, simply because the powers that be have said all students in Kenya should transition to secondary schools. When I was in Mangu, the population was about 400 students. Today it's 4,000. The number of double deckers increased, probably to triple deckers in some schools. A space that was accommodating 20 beds was accommodating 22 beds. We raised money to build more dormitories, but the population still increased. Now, the biggest problem we have in Kenya, especially the public education sector, is that the government is not building schools. Instead, it is distracting us with the idea of shuffling students from school to school, from county to county, making us feel like we have a choice. We are fighting over breadcrumbs, yet the real problem is we don't have sufficient bread. The government should be building schools.
To bake the bread.
Yes.
And it's not that we don't have the capacity to grow the wheat. We actually have the capacity to grow the wheat, harvest the wheat, process the wheat, bake the bread, and share the bread. We'll come to this side of the room because we haven't heard from members of this side. And as we do that, you have the mic, so we'll hear from you. But also we'll hear from some of the people across the country, because we have some bites from parents as we're taking their children to school, from some school heads as we're receiving their new learners in school. But before we listen to those, let's hear you. So tell us your name, whether you're a parent or a teacher. I think you told us you're a teacher, and your experience now with this transition.
Yes, once more, I'm Edgar Were, a JS teacher at Wangu Comprehensive School. So this CBE, from my part, is a good curriculum, but at the same time, as my colleagues have said, we have got some teething problems. For example, the school that I teach, the population is very high, and when you compare the number of teachers to learner ratio, it is a miracle. I'm saying it's a miracle. You can find in a classroom we have 150 learners with one teacher. So you can imagine the government needs to pull up its socks by employing more teachers, building more classrooms, building more labs. Yeah. So, and also another challenge when the learners did their grade 9, while they are transitioning to grade 10, you find out that the government really played another part that was not good. For example, there was a time when they were selecting the schools, as you said earlier, teachers rushed, selected the schools, everything. Learners were eager to go to those schools. But now, towards the start of January, towards the late December, I don't know which government official said we should send the learners assessment number, you get the schools, the name of the schools. But shock to these learners, none of them was called to that school. None of them was called to that school. So when the results came out and now they are being called to those schools, you find out that many learners were disappointed. I'm sure even amongst yourselves, if you have got a learner, you are really disappointed. Then among the pathways is also another thing. This is a new thing, as you had said earlier. How can a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old learner make decisions for themselves? But as time goes by, I know we shall just adapt. When we do comparative education with other different countries, this is something that other countries are employing, and we can see it's of benefit for themselves, especially the first world countries and the global north countries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Walimu. Just pass the mic to the lady behind you. Let's hear from the lady, and then we shall take a break and come back and continue the conversation. You can stand up, tell us your name, whether you're a parent, a teacher, a board member, an owner of a school, a ministry official, or just a citizen who's observing this conversation, and then your experience with this transition.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. My name is Wangari Njuru, and I've worked in schools for the last 15 years
as
a board member, and also working with alumni. My true thinking about what we are discussing today is that we are all liars. And we truly love lies as a country. And so when I hear us pointing out liars, I wish we know that the 4 or the 5 fingers are pointing at us. Because I have traveled this country from Lamu to Rusinga Island. I have gone to schools where there is absolutely nothing. Right? Learners study under a tree. I have been to schools where they've never heard of computers and everything. You know, the English that we use in Nairobi, the conversations that we have in boardrooms. I have been to a school, and I am sure if the Ministry of Education was to even tell you the name of the quality assurance, personnel, they would not do it. We are a country that has classes, and we love it. I am sure in this room, we have the middle class, the proud middle class. We have the government employees. We have, that is the conversations that we have. But the truth of the matter is, we have serious issues in our schools. As a board member, I have sat in schools where you're talking about capitation, really? You're talking about funding? You've told the parents not to fund schools? You've told us not to use this money on which account, whichever, I don't know. But how many times have the government itself, other than producing teachers, other than employing in the ministries, how many times have they sat down? Somebody has talked about, the teacher herself has said that the parents have not received any civic education. Yeah. As the board members, there is no day, and if it has happened, you people let me know tonight, where we have been called as the managers of the school, right? As the stakeholders, as the people who are supposed to make sure that there is infrastructural development in schools. There is no day they have called us and told us, hey, as board members, this is CBC, this is CBE, and this is what is expected of you. Right? All we do is get letters in blue papers to indicate that it is from the ministry. So there's a lot that is happening in schools that I don't know whether they assume or they just decide to ignore. Or rather, how do you explain to me that you're building competency learning, STEM, to a school where we don't have electricity, to a school where we don't have computers? So you're telling a learner to build a computer using cartons, right? And then in Nairobi or in private schools, they have everything provided for them. I think as a country, we need to think about this, and we need to have a revolution, an educational revolution that is going to save our schools, and that is going to save our students, and that is going to ensure that whatever is coming out after senior school is something that we can be proud of.
Thank you very much.
Wamboi, we are a country full of liars.
Yes. We like lying.
And we like lying. You know,
going with the young generation, let's clock it.
Yes.
I was about to actually.
Let's take a break. Let's take a break. We come back in this conversation. Tonight, on the last word, we are asking ourselves, was Kenya prepared for grade 10 transition? Yeah. Was. The transition is actually happening now. We can't say, is Kenya prepared? It's already, we are at that point. As it's happening now, are we seeing a system that was ready to actually go through this transition? That's a question we are asking you. You can also share your thoughts with us on X at NTV Kenya, and also on YouTube where we're live streaming the show. We'd like to hear from you. We have an audience here with us, and it's Eric Latif, Zaha Ndimuli, and James Smart. We'll be back in a moment.
Sahi, ukidial *419# option 4 ama uingie kwa tushinde.com, hakuna probox. Jaribu.
Ni ukweli. Yaani nimeshaingia na ndio tunafieka. Pia inaona iko
ndani. Wanaongelea nini hao?
Ni shamba.
Na sio moja, sio mbili, shamba 3 hapa Juja.
Very nice.
Na ni area moja development na growth iko promising sana. Stima iko ndani. Hiyo. Maji inapatikana.
Wow.
Security iko sawa na all basic amenities zinapatikana. Shamba ni 3 na kuingia kwa draw ili kujishindia moja kati ya shamba hizi 3 ni 35 bob pekee.
Na mtu akitaka zote 3.
Iko special ticket ya kuweza kujishindia shamba zote 3 kwa tikiti moja ya 99 bob pekee.
Hata hiyo.
Na barabara ni nywe mpaka kwa ploti yako na kila ploti is worth 1.5 million Kenyan shillings. Hii 2026 hatuland tu, tunaland mara 3 na tushinde.com au *419# option 4.
Umesema vizuri sana.
Wewe fieka. Na fieka.
I spend every moment thinking about what happened. But believe me, I am
Stop
innocent.
saying that to me. You're not innocent to me.
Where are you, Dad? Is it true what they're saying? Please tell me that what they're saying about you is a lie, please.
If this happens again, you won't be leaving alive.
She said that I'm getting married.
What? Who will you marry?
This is the last word.
I'm satisfied with fees because this being a C1 school is a normal standard fee, no increment in fee. The only thing that I'm not satisfied with is the uniform that we are buying. We are buying too much that maybe we could not afford everything. We are trying to understand how it is going through, and it's one of the best curriculum that has ever come our way.
It narrows down to the specific course or the specific career path that this specific son, or rather your son, would want to do. And then you start fine-tuning yourself from a very tender age.
She was first admitted to a different school, and when the ministry allowed for a review in the system, we went through to the head of the institution of the junior school, who helped us do the review, and then she got this after the review, she got this school, Moi Girl.
It's the last word, and you're hearing what some parents are saying as they take their children to enroll into grade 10. That's a question we're asking ourselves on the last word tonight. Was Kenya ready, really, for this transition? We are here with, the chairman of the National Parents Association. We are here with some board members of certain schools, teachers from both public and private schools, stakeholders in the education sector. Everybody's a stakeholder in the education sector in this country because we pay taxes that funds education, which is the biggest gobbler of our national budget. So everybody is there. And as we were taking a break, we were told by a board member of a school that, you know what, we are all liars.
We're liars.
I mean,
Big
we
liars.
have clear inequality in our education. There are some schools that have proper equipment, some schools that have no equipment at all, or capacity at all to offer education of whatever, even if it's 844, CBE, bring in IGCSE, it will not be able to. Okay, and we have to have that conversation as a country.
I think she literally echoed my points, to be very honest. The socioeconomic inequality in Kenya is a bit too profound, and I feel like CBC also tends to risk rewarding privilege, to be very honest, because if you can only speak of quality education in this transition when your school has access to resources, parental support, there's exposure to those extracurricular activities that these kids can actually adhere to. But Kenya is not an equal society, let's be very honest. Like you said, we're not equal enough to have all schools very much have the same standard. And I was looking at the statistics from the Commission of Revenue Allocation for 2020. The county with the highest number of schools and secondary only is Nakuru with 363 public schools and 149 private ones. The opposite is Lamu with 27 public schools and 4 private schools. So for me, when we're speaking about where these learners are going, it doesn't make actual sense. And we are still revisiting the same issues we saw in 844, whereby we are very ambiguous, because national schools have most of these facilities. But the transition of a Turkana child who got 400 marks or an A+, heading all over to Kiambu County, the resources required to transition that child, the uniforms, as parents are saying, textbooks, are they even supplied yet? Printing and distribution. I feel like we are too ambiguous.
I have a different problem. I think our education system should not be for the learners from Turkana who's done very well and needs to come to Nairobi. Education system should be for the average. The 700,000 who we completely not mention during an election, during the exams. Yes, those systems should be taking care of that. So our obsession with the A's and the E's is actually showing how we are empty of ideas of what we need to have as an education system. Education should be taking care of the majority who are average, and they can be able to transition and get to the next layer at the next level. However, we have a grade 10
represented.
The chairperson of grade 10s is in the room. Please.
Okay, thank you very much for this evening. My name is Kamau Samuel, a parent, grade 10 from Wagu Primary School, a high populated school. In our school, we are lucky because our teachers are digitalized. As the capacity grows, we have all the classes with a screen. But the challenges is we are the performer. For example, I'm a guardian of a student who got 67 points. She was not admitted to the school of the choice. So, if we tried to change the school for another placement, it declined.
But why do you want to change?
Because she was admitted to another county whereby it is too far for me to be going to and from. So I decided to change to my home area within Nairobi or within Kiambu. But a big challenge when it has been declined, you have to go to the school of their choice to seek admission. Then another big challenge is that one, you are not allowed to enter the school. You are told to leave the resort and the gate to go home and wait. But when you get an admission to that school, you are told to just commit yourself with 20 or 10,000 that you are not ready for it. So you are truly denied for the chance because you don't have. As you have said that the education in Kenya should be for everybody, equalizing everybody. The system that we have, it is a system of piloting. If it will work or not. But it will be expensive to us, we parents, as times goes. What would happen to 2027 if another person a leader come and tell us we are going to 844? It will be also expensive coming back. What are we supposed to do, we as a parent? It is very risky to us. I have a point today when I joined a foundation when flagging the Jomo Kenyatta Foundation. As we went to the full exercise, my problem is not big, but you can see my problem. But in the vast part of Nairobi, there is a big problem of the same that is mine. And I tell you the truth, many students will not go to senior school for the first term. They will stay at home. They will join the school second term.
Thank you.
Or leave it.
Bring the mic closer to your mouth. It's a bit fast, so we are not hearing you properly. And you've expressed the point. Let's hear somebody else, and then we'll come back to you as well as you share your thoughts. Pass the mic behind you. Please stand up. Then you can tell us your name.
Thank you.
And which school you've been admitted to.
Thank you. My name is Obiero. Yeah, today I admitted my niece in one of the schools in Nairobi. The boy was called in a school called Goseta in Trans Nzoia. And I think what if the...
What school? It's your nephew or your niece?
My niece, yeah.
What school was she in?
No, I think it's my nephew.
Your nephew?
No, yeah. He was studying in Dandora, somewhere in Dandora.
So he studied in Nairobi?
Yes.
And then he was admitted to a school in Trans Nzoia?
Yes.
And you did not want him to go to the school in Trans Nzoia?
Yeah, that could be more expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I decided to look for him a school in Nairobi.
Okay.
Where I could monitor him and maybe reduce the expenses. But
was the Trans Nzoia school, was the Trans Nzoia school anywhere on his choices?
No, it wasn't anywhere on his choices.
But this is now a national school. It's a C1 school.
No, it's a C2 school.
It's a C2?
Yes.
Okay. Those former extra county schools?
Yes.
Provincial schools, okay.
Yeah.
But you opted for him to remain somewhere in Nairobi?
Yeah.
Did you find a school?
Yeah, I looked for a school and I found a school. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think what first we should do is make all schools day school. Like you live in Ziwani, you got 65 points, you can go to Starehe in the morning, study some building construction like Koroga and 1, 2, or electrical installations. And at 6, you go back to your home in Ziwani. You buy some uniform in Kariako, put on, enter school, go back home in the evening.
Why so?
So you want
it will make education
to be localized.
It will make education simple, easy, and cheap.
Hii mambo ya
sijui mtoto wangu sijui, like we are building hostels like dormitories, big dormitories, like we are going to school to sleep. The dormitories are like learned than the learning we want to do. A school doesn't have a lab and it has a very big dormitories.
Priorities, that is. Okay.
Why should we be sleeping in school?
I get your point. I don't think anyone has ever asked that question.
I get your point. So your push is number 1.
Yeah, what are we learning at night? We're learning to sleep.
Let's make all schools. First
of all, every school should be
day school.
Day school. And then we can think of a boarding.
All learners to go to school in their neighborhood.
In land, you can get into a school of your choice or next to you.
Very good.
You get some education, then go back home.
Go back home.
Kulala.
Pass the mic to the lady next to you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Please stand up.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Apopo from Homa Bay County. I'm a parent of a grade 10 student at Asumbi Girls. What I would like to say is, I don't know the criteria that the government used to do selection of schools. Like, for instance, we find somebody who learned at Homa Bay Primary School, or maybe some private schools like King Solomon in Homa Bay. You find somebody is being called in a school in Kilifi County, and that's a day school, and he or she is in Homa Bay. So I don't know, I will just urge or request the government, when they're doing this selection, at least they see or they check on where is this student or pupil coming from. And then to add on top of what my fellow parent has said, we can talk about the publishers of the textbooks, and because you find like this year, you are using like the Jomo Kenyatta Foundation. Next year, the books are changed to Moran. The next year, like that. So we also urge the publishers, if you can maintain, if this school is using maybe Moran, next year, they don't change it to another publisher like that. We as a parent, we are suffering.
I don't think
we are buying a lot of books.
You should not urge them. Just tell them that is.
Yeah, that is the fact. Because we as parents, we are really suffering. And those books, you cannot even give other pupils. You have to store them in your house. So like me in my house, I have a bookshelf of books that I cannot even share with other people. So that's what I can urge to the publishers, and for also those who are doing the selection of schools. You cannot just come from another county, you go to another county to day school. Is my daughter going to stay in a lodging in Kilifi County? Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Pass the mic, let's go to this side. Just no, the microphone, say this side, there's a microphone here, pass the microphone. Yes, please.
Oh,
please.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm Kubai Turanira, a board member and a PA. First, let me agree with the panelists with the opening ones that the government used the small children as the guinea pig. The education system, the CBE or CBC, is not working. If the government is or was prepared for this, it should have started first by starting with the teacher training colleges or the universities. In grade 10 or grade 9, we are talking about CBE. But when you go to Kenyatta University or any other university, the system or the mode of education that is there is still 844. So you are training a teacher on 844 to come and teach a CBE. Then when this teacher comes out, you are training this teacher maybe a subject combination of English and literature or Kiswahili, CRO, something of the sort. But when this teacher comes out, this teacher is posted to a junior secondary school, whereby this teacher is forced to take a science subject that she or he is not trained about. Therefore, the government is not or was not prepared for this CBE. The fact that the government was not prepared for this was echoed by the personal aide to the president when he sent, and I'll quote, "Imamba to 11 in grade 9 and grade 10. So if such ones can come from such high profile people, you don't expect a parent who comes from a very rural village to understand exactly what this is. When the results of the KJCA came out for the grade 9, even the teachers who have been teaching these students, when you would ask them, how do you calculate these points? Most of them were not aware, because they never knew that the exam will come out of, maybe every subject will have 8 points. They've been marking out of 4 points. Meeting expectation, there was no 1 and 2. Exceeding expectation, there was no expending 1 and 2, so on and so forth. So only on the marking that after the result, that's when the government announced that we shall have 8 points. Each and every maybe expectation will have expectation 1 and expectation 2. Therefore, the government was and is not still prepared for the CBE. When it comes to learning materials, I represent schools that are in a very rural areas, all the way some from Meru. And some of these schools, in Meru, the only foreign language that we know is either Kiswahili or English. But you will find a school in a very rural area whereby the government is bringing books for French and German languages. We don't have teachers for those subjects. We need mathematics and English textbooks.
Yeah.
But because the government never consulted the stakeholders or the users, especially the teachers, the government is just bringing books that are available to the schools.
Thank you. And that's what we were talking about earlier. I call it incompetence.
Yeah.
Like, is a government employee. The teacher is supervised by a government employee called a county education officer or whatever they're called, right? So there's no way the government would be sending books to a school if it doesn't know whether this school is capable of, is actually offering German or French or whatever these other languages are. That is just what I call incompetence.
Incompetence, yeah.
Like we said, let's stop lying. Okay, let's just call it what it is. And I also, as we go ahead, I do not agree that we have teething problems. We cannot have teething problems 7 years into implementation, second transition into a new grade.
Isn't that the lie and the Kenyaism?
That's the thing.
You know, that we just want to call, not call it what it is, that we have not spent time to understand even the philosophy of the education system that we are taking ourselves. And it's easier for us to say we have a teething problem. It's a small issue.
I think I'm also very interested to learn as we continue to transition kids into different methodologies for education. Are we preparing them for a market that can absorb those skills in the first place?
Those are the questions that the education stakeholders will argue that going into competence-based is actually now preparing them better, you know, looking at STEM. STEM is because of all this and the other. But the implementation of it raises very many questions.
Many questions.
Somebody has the mic at the back. Yeah, stand up, please, and let's hear your name and whether you're a teacher, a stakeholder,
or a student,
a pupil,
or a liar.
I'm Kevogo Reina, a student leader from Sabatia sub-county. Yeah, first of all, I want to boldly say that as Kenya, we are still far much behind to offer a system like CBE. Basing on that, I also want to dismiss the Parent Chair Association who said that it is normal to change a system. I think we do research to solve a problem. So a system comes to solve a problem. And if CBE was coming to change the education system or to solve a problem in the 844, then I think we are going back instead of going forward, because he has talked of construction of classes, whereby you find the national schools. Some of them have buildings right now that have not been functioning for the last 1 year because there was no class. And we have some schools that even don't have the nursery classrooms. We talk of the ECD. They are not there. And we are building other classrooms in our system whereby there are also some buildings that are left behind. Currently, when I go back to my local area, we are advertising schools to get students just from the placement, because now the government is testing a system and we are assured of quality education, yet the government is testing a system through our education. So there's a learner somewhere who is being sacrificed, because currently we are advised, even some teachers are asking us or heads of institution to advertise schools for them in our local areas, because some parents don't want certain schools, some parents want certain schools. So the pathways, you know, talking about the pathways, some believe that my child must just take this pathway, and he has been placed in a certain school whereby the parent does not believe that that school can offer the education that his or her child can get. So as a country, we are still far much beyond to offer such kind of a system. So there is such, even the current government had no confidence in offering this system. So I wonder how now the same government came into terms with the system, because they were telling us when they come into power, they will scrap it off. So they have now come into terms with the system. What was wrong that time, that is not wrong today when they are in power.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. Pass on the mic to your neighbor there.
Should I stand?
Stand up, please.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bilton Omondi Ochieng, a stakeholder, undergraduate student at University of Nairobi, and alumnus from Ambira High School. So one thing I'm going to say is that this issue of curriculum, the exchange from the 844 to the CBC system, I'm going to call it as smoke and mirrors. Why? Because in the CBE system, it is learner-centered, right? Apart from that, is that it acts as the hypothesis of the student as they are trying to check on their career, okay? So if you are going to, can the government itself first bring us the other statistics showing this all those years is over 3 decades right now, right? That the 844 system has been there, right? Can it now show to us that this is what we have done? The number of students that have gone through the system, this is the number of boys and girls that we have absorbed, right? And let's go back to the CBE. What has the government done to the pedagogical technology to absorb the students in STEM? What have they done? If I'm gonna say one thing, a couple of months ago, I was in some parts of Siaya. I came to realize that the school, they know nothing about computers. They've never touched it. So you're gonna find that majority of the students, they go some places where bushes, they called gold mines. They're working at the gold mines to collect what's called fee, right? Another thing I'm gonna talk of is that there's something that has been trending online saying that wanafunzi afai kutoka Kolulu kuja wapi? That school of yours, Mangu, right? I think those are just some gimmicks, and we have come as a nation whereas we are prioritizing mediocrity instead of logic.
Thank you.
A system is made logically to choose a student. A student must choose. So anybody who is doing tech here, I think you know what I'm talking of. There's no way you're going to tell me that a system has been made to choose me, Omondi. I cannot go to study at Captain's Weni because I'm Omondi. There's no way. The system, I have to choose. I'm not doing some government gimmicks here. I'm not attending them, but it's a point of the logics. Let me just pass our microphone to someone else.
Asante. We can also pass it to this side. Let's cross over to this side and hear. There's a gentleman there who has it and is ready to speak. Go ahead.
Yes, Hendrik Isaiah Omondi. Mainly I was going to respond on, I'm a concerned citizen. I'm not a teacher. I'm not an expert in any of whatever is going on here. I'm a taxpayer. Education. And for me, my main issue of concern was one of the topics that I've seen is going around a lot is on the complaints on institutions, choices of institutions that, oh, we want to go to Starehe, we want to go to Mangu, but now can we have these at our own places, right? Yeah. And they talk about nurturing every learner's potential. I think so. They talked about something like that. But then again, it's Kenyans. You can't be sure if we are really serious about the future or we are serious about trying to look serious about stuff. It's a crazy thing. But we have to appreciate that when it comes to education, a good education is an expensive venture. And the CBE as it is, theoretically for me, I can't complain. It was a good system. Now, our problem was that we took a world-class system and tried to apply it with a third world budget in our system. And to an extent, it led us to something like it's like an experiment without safety nets. For the grade 10s who have joined that place, they have no safety nets. The government is working on vibes and seculars, not allowed to say about it. And I think the issue that even comes back to the comes back to the institutions, the 50,000 students who wanted 20 schools, or the 183,000 who appealed, then 60-something was rejected, and 50 applied for only 20 institutions. This pushes us to see that there's a stratification, a systematic stratification that comes. It is put as a progressive facade, but it's not really existed, right? You find that it is more of a, when you look at Madam, as she was talking about a private institution, right? And when you look at this private institution, I think there should be our blueprints towards CBE. When you look at these institutions, they are very okay in their systems. You look at Brookside and the likes and all that, the systems are very competent, the systems are very okay. But now the problems comes with, it's a right to education, but terms and conditions apply. Check your bank account for the balance. Also, and this is the only problem, and this is why everyone wants to go to Stare Boys or want to go to Mango High School. Because when you go back to Turkana or you go to China River, there's no institution. There's no institution with the same facilities. Yep. And I believe the issue is not on the theoretical aspect, the issue is on the infrastructural aspect. Yep. The issue is on the moral courage. As a government, do we have the moral courage? The question that we should be asking is CBC okay or not okay? No, it's okay. Theoretically, it's okay. But for it to be applied, we have to have the moral courage to really fund it so that it can work. We have to have the political willpower to fund it equitably. And when I talk about equitably, I'm talking about issues of redistribution of the wealth. I'm talking about if somebody is a millionaire, in my mindset, if somebody is a millionaire or they are earning such figures, then to an extent they should pay more for education. I think education should be free for those who can't afford it, and expensive for people that can really afford it. And when I come back to equitable, also I mean that Turkana should get the schools first before you come adding another school in Nairobi or improving another lab in Nairobi.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Let the microphone come to the front. Let's go to this side. Please stand. Pass the microphone to the front. Yes.
Okay. J. Habuba. And my point nitarudia point ambayo board of member amesema. CBE sio mbaya, lakini tatizo ni taifa letu, serikali. Kwa sababu kuna sehemu ambazo katika taifa zimeathirika. Hawajaenda shule, hawajua hata kompyuta ni nini, umeme hawana. Hebu kwa mfano tuangalie sehemu kama Migori County, sehemu ya Gwitembe, ambapo kuna vita zaidi ya miaka miwili, wanafunzi hawaendi shule. Hamna barabara, hamna umeme, hamna madarasa. Tuangalie sehemu kama Pokoti. Tuangalie sehemu zingine kama Samburu, Turukana. Wakati ambapo taifa letu tunaazimia kwenda Singapore, lakini sisi wenyewe tuko Singapore. Tunaangalia wakati tunapaswa kwamba tuinue elimu, sisi tunajenga kanisa nyingi kuliko elimu. Inakuwaje unapata our president anaenda anatoa over 20 million zijenge kanisa, wakati wanafunzi wa Turukana hajawahi ona darasa ambalo limejengwa na tofali. Wakati ambapo rais anaazimia kwamba labda kanisa iongezwe au ijengwe sehemu fulani kwa ukubwa wake, wakati sehemu kama Gwitembe vita zinapigana na wanafunzi hawaendi madarasani. Ndipo ukuwe kiongozi mzuri, lazima upende elimu, kwa sababu ukipende elimu kumaanisha kwamba unajenga msingi ambao ukiondoka utakuwa unaongeza viongozi wengine wazuri. Kwa hivyo ndipo sisi wa Kenya tusonge mbele, lazima tu niangalie kwamba mimi Habiba naishi Nairobi. Kuna yule anaishi Nairobi anasomesha mtoto wake kwa shule ambayo ni nzuri. Lakini yule anaishi Turukana na Gwitembe anasomesha mtoto wapi? Asante.
Asante sana. Asante sana. Tupeane kipaza sauti hapa ndipo sasa tumsikie huyu.
Patiana kwanza kwa mbele kwanza alafu tarudi.
Analosema.
Ndipo
Ndiposa tuelewe.
Unaweza angekuwa CBE angeweza kueleweka.
Thank you. I'll definitely not speak in Swahili because it's not as proper as that. Introduction, my name is Luchiri Omoto, and I'm here probably to represent old boys and old girls, a very key stakeholder that is never represented anywhere by policy or anything. Yet these are the people who have managed to keep some schools afloat and some schools going.
You said you're representing?
Alumni.
Alumni.
Oh.
And to be very specific for Eric Latif's knowledge, the Alliance High School.
Wow.
That's where I'm coming from. So yeah, I think ours is more of a paradox, the position where I'm in right now. Because I've heard people saying, kids should go to the closest school. We shouldn't have to travel all this far. But then the key point is this, and speaking as an alumni, we have worked hard to keep this school what it is as old boys. Every effort, people talk about government and whatnot, but alumni do give quite a lot to keep these schools floating. And that is why some of these schools still have their luster. Yeah? So it is sort of a paradox now to hear people saying, we shouldn't do this. And it has actually to us seemed like a policy from government that we should just kill these national schools and everybody should be equal. Yet we are forgetting that where you're telling them to go, we do not have the infrastructure. Everybody here is talking about laptops and whatnot. Government has not given us any laptops. Alumni from the different schools that I know of are the ones who do this. Yet our say and whatnot is not pretty much when it comes to running of these schools or being tasked or asked by government. When it comes to this CBC whole thing, to be very honest, I think it was about time we do away with 844. There is a saying that things don't go wrong, they start wrong. Luckily, I went to a school that started right from the onset. Now, if you look at what we had before, A-levels, why did we change it? We just decided, let's change this. When we started implementing 844, there were teething problems. Now, we are trying to implement CBC, and I clearly, I'm in the group to be blamed. I think it is the people who did 844 who are trying to implement CBC, and we have no clue whatsoever on how to implement it 7 years down the line. We have had problems the last 3 weeks. Principals had gone off air, couldn't be found. Why? They don't even know how the selection was being done.
Yep.
We are trying to put tags, names, blah, blah to government. Have we ever interrogated what system is this that actually does the selection?
But
how does it?
What's the system?
Pardon?
I'm interested with where we're laying the blame and where you're laying the blame. Who owns the system?
We own the system, but the system is...
Who's we?
Right now, if I were to put blame anywhere, it will be the mandarins at the Ministry of Education.
Okay.
And a specific directorate in there. Because how does a system go picking a kid in Nairobi, sending them to Kilifi?
To a day school.
To a day school in Kilifi. You know, I grew up in the sugarcane region, and at a certain point when they introduced computers, the only excuse you needed to hear was, computer imesema. And parents, old people would just walk away. Computer imesema. Right now, we are not asking ourselves a very fundamental question, which I think can answer some of these ills that are happening. Who built this system, if it was built by us? Who maintains it? How does it do these selections? Is it transparent enough? Maybe that could help us solve some of these questions that we are asking.
Can we ask a more foundational question?
Yes.
Because that is a technical question that suggests all schools are like the alliance across the country, all right? That is the suggestion. That the system then, we need to question the Mandarin at the ministry who's sending a child to Kilifi. When this system came about, over 300,000 learners wanted to go to a different school. And those schools are the national schools, the minute schools. Why? Because it's the places that has facilities, the places that there's teachers and there's labs and all these things.
Yep.
So there's a reason why people want to go there. That's why I'm asking, we should to ask the foundational question. Is this system was supposed to be working for all of us? Or it's a system that was just helping us to maintain our biases, our inequalities. And we're happy with it as long as I'm an old boy of...
I'd like to clarify something, and that's why I said my position is sort of a paradox. It is not biases per se. There's a student in Turkana who worked hard, knowing that after I do this, my chances get better when I go somewhere where the facilities are there. Yeah? So he got his 70 points, hoping that he will go to Alliance. Then the system decides, no, we will take you elsewhere or stay here.
All right.
That's a paradox for me.
So that student in Turkana, that's why I'm asking us the foundational question. There is another student in Turkana who didn't do well.
Yes.
Where they're supposed to go, according to this paradox?
According to this paradox, we go back to the ministry. They classified schools as C1, C2, C3. But then just to answer your question, so should we punish the student who put in effort or who was born clever? Because
that the others did not put in effort.
Yes.
Which is unfair.
You put in effort, yes, but what are the results?
There are those who put in effort, but then they, fortunately,
the system is
the high marks.
Yes.
They get the high marks.
Yes.
They will go to this category 1 school. In fact, our parent from Ziwani there, I'm sure if his nephew had been admitted to the Alliance, which is not next to Ziwani, he'd not be having as many complaints as he's having now with the student being second.
That's true, and that's life.
Or in fact, a parent who's in Trans-Nzoia and their child is admitted to Alliance, well, Mangu is father, is taken to a better school, Mangu, right?
Yes.
They would not complain as much as if that child was actually called to Maiaihe Secondary School, which is in Kikuyu, not very far from the Alliance High School. It's called Maiaihe.
Yes.
What else? Or another one called the PCA Kikuyu High School, or the schools near the Alliance. They are not the same.
And I think the foundational question is why they're not the same.
The bigger, and that's the
I answered why they're not the same.
We should, at 60 years later,
should we be arguing about
the school called Alliance High School, and the school called Maiaihe Secondary School
are two different.
Should be the same.
Should be the same.
True.
Right? Well,
True.
Close to the same. This one is old. It has a bigger land.
Plus,
and all
also,
that.
Bush is very colonial. We'll get there, but
but in terms of facility, in terms of the quality of teachers, in terms of the principal who is in these national schools is actually a senior principal, has more experience, and the principal or the school head who is at another school called a secondary school is a junior in the ranking of schools. And you see, these things end up with even the number of teachers that you get. Studies have been conducted. Schools like ours, you'll find that 90%, over 90% of the teachers are TSC teachers. Schools like Maiaihe Secondary School, which is not very far from the Alliance High School, does not have 80% of TSC teachers. So the school community has to pay to hire a teacher who cannot be even on permanent and pensionable terms because the school community cannot guarantee permanent and pensionable. That's the inequality. Right? Now, if the boy in Turkana had a school of a similar quality as the Alliance High School in Turkana,
they would definitely go there.
They would go to Turkana. And I see the paradox.
And that is what we are.
Where we are.
Where we are. Thank you for seeing the paradox. Where we are, we need that kid in Turkana to get some good quality education, as we are right now. He has mentioned something. He has mentioned something. Starehe Turkana branch or alliance. And this is something we have actually raised. Now listen, it's not like we are not facing any problems as alliance as well. Because right now the ministry has this whole idea that alliance should be taking almost 5,000, 6,000 people. And then we are telling them, the formula is there. If you want us to come and make an alliance in Turkana, please allow us and we will do it.
Not you. Not you. The taxes that we pay
are supposed to head somewhere.
should build.
We agree on the taxes
everywhere.
But they are not doing it with the taxes.
In Kimana, where I come from, I went to a school called Kimana Primary School. All right?
Yes.
I was the only one who was admitted to a national school I went to, Mangu High School. My classmates did not go to a school of a high caliber as Mangu High School.
Yeah.
We should all have gone to a school of a high caliber.
We should make a school of a high caliber at Kimana.
5 years since I did my standard 8. It's still the same. And the point is, 35 years later, why should somebody who is in grade 9 today in Kimana Primary School not go to Kimana Girls Secondary School, which is as good as...
Exactly. Why should it be a multiplication of alliances? Why not other schools also get to that level as well?
When I say the multiplication of alliances is, this is the level, but can we make Kimana Secondary the same way?
Yes.
Instead of trying to fit everybody at alliance, which is the problem we were facing. 150,000 people who only want to go to 3 schools.
Yes.
It's difficult.
Right, pass the microphone to him. Yeah. Yes, you.
Let me say something. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. By name, I'm called Abilon Diek. I represent an institution called Usawa Agenda, which is an education research institution. So the conversation is going on well. With regards to having more schools with quality, I think the best approach, and statistics can prove us right, is by having sub-county schools upgrading system, or sub-county schools upgrading format, just like we had national schools upgrading formula from 2013 to about 2020. And then a lot of conversations are coming up with whatever is wrong with the CBC and whatever should be right. And I think the conversations are rich. But just to be short, from my perspective, what I've observed, I think the media has a big role to play in this. And please let us stop calling the CBE system a new system. By continuing calling it new 7-9 years later after it was introduced, we are giving the government leeway to continue messing the system downwards. And I will agree, I know SMART challenged this, but I will agree with the National Parents Association chairman that CBE was not just introduced out of the blue moons. The initiation of the process to introduce CBE began as far back as 2009 with the first summative evaluation of the 844 system. And then in 2012, we came into 2012, the Prof. Odhiambo Commission suggested a change in curriculum that set the process of changing the curriculum in motion. In 2015, we had the sessional paper, number 2 of the government, which followed up on the recommendations of the Prof. Odhiambo Commission. Again, that suggested the change of the curriculum, and that's now where substantive processes began. And then now in 2016, we had the national needs assessment with regards to curriculum. So if you want to see the curriculum change, it comes as far as back as 2009. It's not just something that was placed on us abruptly in 2017. So if we continue calling the system new, we are actually giving the government a leeway to continue messing up the system.
Yes.
We will reach in 2030 and still be calling the system new, and that is a problem for not only the government, but even for the parents who depend on education to improve their livelihoods. Thank you.
Just to add something, I think as somebody said that we are liars, parents are the ones who are liars.
Not teachers.
Not teachers.
Parents are the ones who are liars. If you could take your time, try to model your school back in the village and make it an alliance that you want, you can, you as a parent. Why do you just want to take your child to alliance? That's the question you should be having. Another thing that is here, each and every county has got a C1 school. That's something that should be noted.
Yep.
Each and every county, a boys' school and a girls' school, and others were added recently. So we are the ones who are supposed to model our local schools and make them our alliances. So when we start loving our schools in the villages, it's now when we shall now be coming out of this thing that's saying all learners want to go to alliance. Again, we should not blame this CBE so much because it's like a new mother who has got a new baby. We are talking about grade 10 transition. It is the first time. It is the first time that learners are transiting to senior school, and so challenges are expected to be there. So we should not throw stones to the government so much as if we are new people in Jerusalem. So please, let us try to understand.
Who do we throw it at? Teachers?
We should not throw it at teachers, but we should come to, all of us should just try to understand the first time learners are trying to transit. Challenges were expected. Come next year, if the same challenges will be there, it's now when we should continue throwing stones. But for now, it was expected and learned, and
Mwalimu,
parents.
Mwalimu,
Yes.
let me just say one thing that you do very well as a Kenyan, yeah?
Yes.
You take this position that you should be treated badly. Okay? That you know it is fine, these things should go like this.
Yeah.
It's a problem. It's such a Kenyan thing.
You anticipate
But that's actually based on
mediocrity.
colonialism, right? Like you actually accept to be treated badly. All right?
No.
You go and get bad service, like you know it is expected. My neighbors went there and they stayed for 2 days.
That's how Kenya is.
Yes, I stayed for 1 day.
But I beg to differ.
So no, I hope you don't pass this to the children, that you should not be beating yourself too much. This is talking about liars. The point is this: we pay taxes, we expect a good service.
Yeah.
All right? That's the Kenya we want. That's the Kenya we fight for.
Sure,
all right?
sure.
That's what we should pass on to the next generation.
Sure.
Not that, these things should always be bad like this. Next year, if it so happens that our children are sent to, 100 kilometers away, then we should complain. This year we should stay and accept. You understand?
But you should also understand, we have some parents who are contented to where their learners were called.
True.
Not all of them are complaining.
100%.
Yes. So it's only a fraction of the parents who are complaining. And it is...
Malemo.
I think that's very dangerous.
Do you know how many people asked to be moved? All right? Do you have the number?
300,000.
Do you have the number?
Jesus.
Yeah, around 300,000.
That is a fraction, right?
That is a fraction.
That's a fraction.
Yeah, out of 1.2 million, it's a fraction.
Malim, where do you teach?
It's a fraction. It's a fraction of the others.
So, a sizable fraction.
It's a sizable fraction. It's a sizable fraction.
Thank you. So the point is this, yeah?
Yes.
That when we discuss matters of importance, national importance, the position that we should take is to make sure that we push ourselves to be better and do better. All right?
Yes.
As opposed to say, we accept and we move on. Right? This is a very Kenyan position that we want to take off. That you see, at least you allow politicians to show up in your private spaces and someone who has no idea what they're doing. But because they have Mheshimiwa, then they lecture you. Okay? That is what Malim we should really, really work on. And I hope we work on this as we move on.
Before we turn over, just as a reminder, and I've seen Pielo Lumumba has mentioned this so much, we have very bad hygiene in Kenya, where everything we anticipate for has a sanitization of corruption and mediocrity, and then we sanitize it again into expected problems, teething. These teeth I've had here. You as a teacher should have a space and a system that supports your teaching to the highest quality because it is paid for. The student to teacher ratio that you deal with should accommodate, in fact, even your intellectual mental space to handle perfection and quality. The school you're teaching should have the resources and an infrastructure to secure the spaces you are sharing this knowledge, and you're selling yourself short by telling government that we shouldn't beat them too much because very risky position.
When we pay taxes, they don't tell us. Paying kidogo, and then, because you expect to make money, you understand? Thank you very much. Yes.
As we wind up in the next couple of minutes.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm Brian Onyango, a law student and also a motivational speaker, so I interact with students much also. A teacher has just said that parents are the people who are liars. But the reason why they are liars is because also teachers are confused, because the government also are working out of ignorance, because they can bring in what they don't know how it works. Let's say during the time of Magoa was the person, Professor Magoa, the late, who knew how the system was running. Then when Amina Mohammed came in and said that we should sit, relax and come back and give us 1 or 2 years so that we can analyze this CBC, then I don't think she was in the, after saying that, she was in the office after that day. She was removed in the office because of that. So I think, you see, the 844 system, teachers trained for 4 years in the university for them to be a teacher maybe. Then in this CBC, you are being plucked where you have trained for 4 years, and then you are going to be trained for only some few days, and then they assume that now you are experiencing that. So that is the reason why we are teaching. Teachers maybe the reason why they cannot say it is bad, because they are simping, they don't want to lose their jobs. Because when the government says it, it is it. So that is why they don't want to lose their job, and they insist that it must work. I think it is not better. The CBC, and I've come to realize, killing doesn't just come in the form of shooting or whatever. They are killing education in this direction of CBC, and education is the key. When we want to make Kenya Singapore with this kind of education, I don't think the Singapore will reach this kind of education CBC. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Last, and then we come and hear the Parents Association's last word on this particular issue.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Steve Lochwetek, a student teacher from Kenyatta University. I'm training to be a teacher maybe in future, if all goes well.
All the best.
So, my last word about this CBE thing, actually the whole time that we've been here, the confusion, the kind of confusion that our parents have, teachers, our panelists have, is the same confusion that we have back in the university, back to the schools where we went for our practicum and teaching practices. The same confusion, because try to imagine this one. From here, if you are to be asked that, so can you just give us some 3 resolutions that we can use to resolve this problem? Can you?
Yes.
You can?
Yes.
Okay, maybe to our parents and teachers, we've been exchanging, trying to...
It's teething problems.
Okay. Here's the thing. Just imagine of a beautiful girl that you have met somewhere, maybe a stripper, you have gone to a beautiful club and you have met some beautiful lady. As a man, then you admire all the qualities of this lady. You take this lady to your room or to your place. Then after that, this lady anakuweka tuna shida kila siku, shida. This is how CBC looks like. It's beautiful from the outlook. Everyone's admiring. When tell our parents, this CBC will now give your child this pathway, and our parents try to imagine that, hey, this one is beautiful anyway. Now they're not fighting it directly, but the real thing, it is hectic. It has got a lot of challenges, and the first challenge comes from our teachers. All teachers are liars, by the way. There is no teacher who has come out clearly and said that they have a difficulty in implementing this thing. They had unlimited time for training. They never trained for this CBE. They trained for other curriculum. But they were given only like a week to get this CBC into their head. So it is confusing from them to our parents, and it has overburdened our parents. So CBC is killing, just the same way my friend has said here, it is killing our future. Education was meant to liberate, not to confuse. So the government should just scrap away this system. Ienda sana, imeenda to 7 years. Turudi kwa ile ingine, because tukienda tuna the same level of confusion, it will end us in Haiti, not Singapore. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's come to the final round as we now look at the last one. The question we are asking ourselves tonight is, was the government prepared for the transition to grade 10? And I was focusing just specifically with this transition. Let's not even talk about that. This is the same cohort that transitioned from 6 to 7, and they stayed for an entire term without teachers in grade 7. They were being taught by their former grade 6 teachers in primary school who were just walikuwa wanashikilia as the government was hiring teachers. Yes, the government has hired teachers. Now they are in this transition. Chairman of the National Parents Association, from where you sit, because you have access to all these boardrooms,
I'll say thank you very much, Lati, for coming back to me again. I will begin from his point, my friend from the Alliance High School. One thing is that Alliance High School is the way it is because of the parents of Alliance High School and the alumni and the community. A school in Nyamira can change to the standards of Alliance High School if the community, the parents, and other stakeholders in that area.
But you know that's a lie, right?
Yeah.
You know that's a lie.
Just let me finish.
No. You know that's a lie. But Alliance didn't just show up with alumni, right? Alliance started from, okay, so there's a sort of equity and equality. Okay.
Yes.
So yes, so as we propagate of what it is, and we try to transfer the problem to people in Nyamira to build their own schools, we know that it doesn't start like that. He would accept that. He didn't go to Alliance and, they started building it then. It had years and years and years of history.
Yeah, I'm saying.
So who's supposed to do the first building?
I'm saying this, my brother, listen to me very carefully.
I listen to you very carefully. Let's try again.
The way Latif and I found Mango is not the way Mango is right now. Because as old boys, and he has said when Alliance,
Did you find Mango as the school in Nyamira? That's what you're saying?
I'm coming to that point. Just give me time. Don't cut me short. The way Latif and I found Mango and engineer here is not the way Mango is right now. Because as alumni of Mango High School, we sacrifice ourselves to make sure that our school is in that position. And how we sacrifice? We work together with the parents on the ground.
I am disagreeing.
Now, get this point.
Your fellow...
Just a minute. Let me finish up.
Finish your point, yeah.
One point I need to understand is that schools are owned by parents and by the communities. Actually, schools don't belong to the government. The government only subsidies or supports. But schools belong specifically to the parents. So if there's a school that is not to the standard, as someone said here, parents of that school should be questioned. That what are you doing as parents to make sure that this school can at least move to one level? The other thing is this.
Okay, let me finish. Let me finish.
Let me finish up.
Yeah, allow him to finish, please.
Let me finish quickly.
Yeah.
Second point, I want to differ with my sister here. She said that we are liars. We are not liars. Because if you compare our old system, 844 and CBE system, grade 9 students, I did not know how to swim, personally. Even when I became the chair of Parents Association, I didn't know how to swim. Because when I was in Mango High School, there was no swimming pool. So I left Mango and I went to the university, without knowing how to swim. My girl,
could you just
get this point. My girl in grade 9 taught me how to swim in 10 minutes, and I can swim like a fish right now. Now, knowing how to swim.
Because of CBE, right?
Yes, knowing how to swim.
Yes.
Do you know that my girl in grade 9 right now, if she dropped out of the school, she will get a job as a lifesaver at the beach in Mombasa, and 5 million. When a teacher or a pastor or whatever it is going to look for a job.
Sir, I have a question.
No.
Finally.
Finally. Yes, let me finish.
I'm finishing up.
Yes.
Finally, I want to say this, that CBE was introduced because of change in the job market searching. The other systems you have had, getting employment was very difficult. And now CBE is here to train the children to be self-reliant at the end of the course. And this one is an express process. That's why it's called comprehensive school. It just goes like that. At the end of this training, my brothers and sisters, you will find that the children who leave this system, at any given point, they will hardly miss employment like in the old systems and other systems that we have right now. So what the government has done, as I finish up, on placement, there has been a problem that placement of the children was done in a wrong way. There are reasons why the placement of children was done by use of chemists. One reason is that recently there was that scandal of ghost students in schools. And there was that scandal of ghost schools existing. Billions of shillings of taxpayers' money being spent on ghost what? Non-existent schools. So the chemists changed from the former names, so that every student now in grade 9 would get a specific number of tracking.
All right.
The reason why we had these short failures in allocation of schools, one leaving Coast and going to Muranga, is normal. When we were in Mangu Latif here, we had a female student coming to Mangu to be admitted in Mangu Boys High School. And yet this selection was done by principals physically.
All right, thanks.
So,
thank you.
What am I saying? Let me finish the last point.
You've been finishing in the last 2 minutes.
Yes, the last one.
Yes.
That we as parents, we have no doubt in the system. We are very firm. We are supporting the government that the system will be successful. And this way, right now, we have 100% transition to grade 10. Get the point?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Give the gentleman on your right just to please take a minute to rebut everything he said.
Thank you. Your question was whether the government was ready for the transition.
Yeah.
Actually, Kenya is a democratic country. It should be whether the government and the people had prepared themselves for the transition.
Kenya ready?
Yes. Now, second point, we are not even making the transition. We have simply repainted a car that has broken down. We are not supposed to be talking about tribe C1, tribe C2, tribe C3, C4. We should resist academic apartheid the same way we resist ethnic apartheid. I'm from Mangu High School. Our motto is Jishinde Ushinde. I went to Alliance colleague from the other side of the room. Their motto is strong to serve. The girls' school motto, the sister school's motto is walk in the light. Let's walk in the light. Let's not agree to be divided into schools, into categories. C1, C2, C3, C4 does not represent competence. It represents division. In fact, there is a picture of parliament there. Parliament represents the diversity. Let's not mistake diversity for division. Tujifunze kusoma. The reason why national schools are better than other schools is not because they have better equipment. They eat the same githeri. In fact, the weevils in the githeri are exactly the same. There are no national weevils. There is no national githeri. The reason why Mangu and Alliance appear to be better than other schools is because they admit grade A students to Form 1 and then present those grade A students to Form 4. A school like Namelok is not being allowed to choose grade A students in Form 1. If a school has cheaters in Form 1, they'll win all the races. If another one is admitting tortoises, not tortoises, tortoises, they will never win the race. It doesn't matter how much they try. We need to embrace democratic values and agree to equalize ourselves. Let's resist the idea of agreeing to be divided into different classes. Finally, I want to ask a very simple question. National schools are only 1.1% of the schools, 106 out of 9605. They admit 2.8% of the students. How is that national? The national highways are not reserved for the best cars. The best hospitals are not reserved for the best patients. The best police stations are not reserved for the best criminals. I hope they could be. Why do we reserve the so-called best schools for the best students? It doesn't make sense. We need to walk in the light. Thank you.
Engineer, in fact, that should be just be.
Engineer, you finished. You are finished. If anyone says anything after this, they would have spoiled this show. Latif.
Engineer, thank you very much. I think the conversation that as we've had today was looking at that journey to where we are, where grade 9s who sat for their KJ exam last year are now transitioning into grade 10 this week. And whether the government was prepared, whether the country was prepared. In terms of policy and planning, very many questions emerge. Up to mid last year, we were still having debates whether we will be having math as a compulsory subject in grade 10, 11, and 12. So can we say that we were actually prepared for this transition? I'd say questions emerge. If you look at the number of learners who are now making this transition, and then look at how many have brought up the concerns about the schools that they've been admitted to. 300,000 out of 1.13 is a fraction, but a substantial, significant fraction. That's a high number. Why? There are questions. There are many who have not even applied just because maybe they've just given up. They just looked at it and said, you know what, let me just accept. It is what it is. Teachers have been recruited, yes, for junior school. Teachers have been retooled, we hear that, for senior school. And Mwalimu will confirm whether teachers have been retooled for senior school. But are teachers completely understanding these different pathways? So a school that is offering all three pathways, is it clear to all in that school that this is how we're actually handling the three pathways? It's not clear. Infrastructure, you say 26,000 schools, classrooms were built, and so on and so forth. How many labs are there? What kind of infrastructure do we have to accommodate this? We knew we were going to have grade 10s where they are today. The conversation about grade 7s and 8s, we could say that one was creating a confusion, but it was clear the 10s were going to be in the secondary schools. Were we prepared for that? I say no. So if we look at all this and asking ourselves whether Kenya was prepared for the transition to grade 10, the big answer and the obvious answer is no. Let us not accept mediocrity. Let us call it what it is. We had all the time. Those that we pay every month to do the work had the time. They did not do it. When you have 1.13 million learners who have gone through 7, 8, 9 of confusion, and you are pushing them into 10, 11, 12 of confusion, and probably even beyond that, 3 years of university or post-secondary of more confusion, we are killing a generation. Ask ourselves, what's happening to these learners? What kind of trauma are they going through with all this as they're transitioning? We may be looking at it and calling it teething problems, but these are not teething problems for them. This is their life. We're not prepared, and we've got to pull up our socks from this. That's the last word. Thank you very much for watching tonight. It's James Smart, Zaha Indimuli, and Eric Latif, plus our audience here who've been very engaging. Have a good night. Until next week.